What is up, guys? Delboy here. So surprisingly, Dillian Whyte is going to be fighting Joseph Parker on the 28th of July. Now, Dillian Whyte has been strongly linked to fight either Kubrat Pulev or Luis Ortiz. Kubrat Pulev would have been a IBF final eliminator, and Luis Ortiz would have been a WBC final eliminator, and most people, including myself, thought he was going to go down one of those two routes. And last night, actually, there were several reports indicating that Dillian Whyte would indeed fight Luis Ortiz. However, that is not the case. Dillian Whyte is going to be fighting former WBO heavyweight champion Joseph Parker. And I've got to say, I really like this fight. There has been some criticism online that Dillian Whyte isn't taking one of the eliminator fights, and I can kind of see why. He has been moaning to get a title shot, especially against Deontay Wilder for the WBC title. So him turning his back on that, yeah, I can see why people would criticise him. But I think the criticism, I can see the merit for it, but it's a little bit petty as far as I'm concerned, because ultimately it's not like he's avoided those fights and fought an absolute scrub. No, he's chosen another route, and he's fighting a former world heavyweight champion, a guy in his prime, a guy who's dangerous, and a guy who could potentially beat him and spoil his rankings. It's a risky fight. He's not guaranteed to win it. In fact, Joseph Parker is the favourite. So criticism for Dillian Whyte for taking this fight, I think, is a little bit over the top, to be quite honest with you, although I can see the merit behind it. But yeah, I think it's a little bit petty. I think stylistically this fight will gel quite well. I certainly think it's a better fight than the Pulev fight. You know, both guys are in their primes. Unlike Ortiz and Pulev, both guys are pretty much the same size. Both guys really still do have a point to prove. And yeah, they're both top 10 heavyweights. So to me, there's not too much to complain about here. Like I said earlier, I think stylistically it'll gel quite well. I feel Parker, out of the two, is the better boxer. He just comes a bit more technically correct. I like the way he throws his jab when he uses it. He holds his shape better than Dillian Whyte. I feel he's the slightly bigger puncher, and I feel he's actually a little bit more durable too. So overall, I think Parker is the more advanced fighter, but I do feel Dillian Whyte is improving. And one thing Dillian Whyte has over Joseph Parker, in my opinion, is output and stamina. I think Dillian Whyte is a better conditioned heavyweight. I know Dillian Whyte doesn't always look in the best of shape, but he does maintain a pretty good punch output for a heavyweight. Not only that, he works the body very well, you know, especially when compared to other heavyweights. And I feel both fighters' strengths could actually give the opponent issues. So, for example, Dillian Whyte, to me, although he is starting to tighten up his defensive issues, he still has glaring flaws. You know, sometimes you'll see him throw a left hook and spin himself off balance. His right hand, although it's getting better in terms of accuracy, he does miss a lot of right hands and he'll fall right in with it. You know, Dillian Whyte does things that a counter-puncher is going to salivate over. So he's going to leave holes and gaps for Joseph Parker to find his counter shots. I feel that Joseph Parker is a good boxer-puncher. He is a good counter-puncher. You know, and I think that Dillian Whyte, stylistically, could actually give him some opportunities to sort of take advantage of. But on the flip side, you know, we've seen Joseph Parker in some hard fights. For example, the Carlos Takam fight. Carlos Takam up close, to me, really gave Joseph Parker a lot of issues. Carlos Takam forced a really high pace on Joseph Parker, and I felt Parker looked uncomfortable. If Dillian Whyte can get up close and club to the body, you know, maul him on the inside, do some work up close, it's going to be interesting to see how Joseph Parker deals with that. It's going to be interesting to see how the gas tank holds up. You know, I feel this is going to be a much different fight to the AJ fight. The AJ fight was a lot more low output. It wasn't that high. It wasn't high octane. I think that a fight with Dillian Whyte is always going to be high octane. He's going to come forward. He's going to look for those overhand shots. He's going to try and work the body, and he's going to make you work. You know, like I said earlier, Dillian, he's got a lot of technical flaws, but what he does have in abundance is heart, determination, decent punch output, solid power. He's going to keep coming forward. So he's going to exert a lot of energy from Joseph Parker, and I'm going to be interested to see how Parker deals with that down the stretch. I think that Joseph Parker, he needs to adopt a similar game plan to the Andy Ruiz fight in a sense where he is actually using his jab, but he needs to be a lot more assertive. I felt that in the Ruiz fight, although he was keeping the range quite well at times, he still wasn't really stamping his authority. You know, he wasn't letting go of that right hand anywhere near enough. He wasn't giving Andy Ruiz any discouragement from trying to get up close. You know, Ruiz was able to steal rounds, like I said. You know, he needs to be a lot more assertive against Dillian Whyte. He needs to be more willing to let that right hand go down the pipe, because there's going to be opportunities. He needs to catch Dillian with some big shots to discourage him. If he's passive like the Ruiz fight, he might have some trouble, because although I liked the way he judged the distance, like I said, he just wasn't willing enough to throw that right hand. He needs to be a bit more aggressive with Dillian Whyte. I think in an ideal world, Parker would need to hurt Dillian early on to really gain his respect. But I think stylistically this fight is going to gel really well. I feel that Parker is the better boxer. I could actually also see a scenario where Parker does outbox Dillian Whyte in stages. You know, like I said, I feel that Parker is more technically sound. He had a better amateur career, and you can tell that by the way both guys hold their shape, by the way both guys throw punches, by the way both guys move around the ring. Joseph Parker to me is a more advanced boxer, but Dillian Whyte is a good fighter. You know, he won't lie down for anybody. He's got a good solid chin, solid power of his own, you know, solid on the inside, good body punching, and a good gas tank. So I feel stylistically this fight is really, really a really good match. I think it's, like I said, I think it's better than the Pulev fight. What is it better than the Ortiz fight? Now, I felt that Ortiz and Whyte would gel really well also. So listen, I'm not disappointed in the slightest about this fight. I could give a fuck less if Dillian Whyte is not fighting in an eliminator. Regardless, I just want to see good fights, and to me, this is a good fight. The only thing is, it's on pay-per-view. Is Whyte versus Parker going to persuade people to buy? I'm not sure. But from what I'm hearing online, the card is going to be stacked. So we'll see how the card develops. We'll see what fights are made on the card, and we'll go from there. I've heard rumours that Kell Brook's going to fight on the card, but I've heard rumours he's going to fight Gabriel Rosado. So yeah, I mean, how good is the card going to be? We'll see. But the main event I really like. Tell me what you guys think of it. I think stylistically this gels really well. I think that Parker is a rightful favourite, but I don't think there's much in it. What do you guys think? Peace.